Married with Children reunion headlines are dominating entertainment news right now, and the reason goes far beyond nostalgia or a simple trip down memory lane. This moment has quickly become one of the most emotional, symbolic, and powerful television reunions in recent memory, largely because of Christina Applegate and her rare, courageous decision to step back into the public eye while continuing her very real and very difficult battle with multiple sclerosis. This is not a story about a sitcom cast laughing about the old days or replaying punchlines from decades ago. This is a story about survival, legacy, endurance, and what it truly means to be seen when life no longer looks anything like it once did. For decades, Christina Applegate has been a permanent fixture in pop culture, whether people realized it at the time or not. To many viewers, she will always be Kelly Bundy, the sharp-tongued, confident, hilariously self-absorbed daughter from Married with Children. When the show premiered in 1987, it didn't just debut a new sitcom, it detonated a cultural shift. Television audiences were used to wholesome, squeaky clean families who wrapped every episode with a moral lesson. Then came the Bundys, loud, messy, financially struggling, unapologetically crude, and brutally honest. They were everything network television wasn't supposed to be, and that's exactly why the show became a phenomenon. Kelly Bundy quickly emerged as one of the show's most recognizable characters, but not just because of her looks or her exaggerated persona. Christina Applegate brought impeccable comedic timing, fearlessness, and self-awareness to the role. She leaned into the absurdity, sharpened the jokes, and helped turn Kelly into a character people couldn't stop talking about. Even critics who dismissed the show's humor often acknowledged that Applegate was a standout performer. What often gets overlooked, especially in hindsight, is just how young Christina Applegate was when she stepped into that role. She didn't simply play Kelly Bundy, she grew up as Kelly Bundy. Her teenage years unfolded in front of millions of viewers, under intense scrutiny, relentless tabloid attention, and the pressures of an industry that has historically been unforgiving to young women. Every change, every mistake, every moment of growth happened in public, and yet she navigated that environment with professionalism, humor, and a level of emotional toughness that few people her age could manage. Those qualities didn't just get her through the show, they became the foundation of her entire career. When Married with Children ended in 1997, Christina Applegate made a conscious decision to refuse the easy path. She could have leaned entirely into the Kelly Bundy persona and cashed in on nostalgia forever. Instead, she challenged herself. She built a diverse career that spanned broad slapstick comedy, romantic roles, biting satire, and emotionally heavy drama. She proved she could anchor a sitcom, steal scenes in films, and deliver heartbreaking performances when given the chance. Time and again, she demonstrated that she wasn't just a sitcom star, she was a serious performer with range, intelligence, and remarkable staying power in an industry that often moves on quickly. But while her career continued to flourish, her personal life was quietly shaped by battles that most fans never saw coming. In 2008, at the height of her professional success, Christina Applegate was diagnosed with breast cancer. The news shocked Hollywood and her fan base alike. Instead of retreating into silence, she chose transparency. She underwent a double mastectomy and later spoke openly about her experience, helping to raise awareness and encouraging women to prioritize their health. Once again, she faced a life-altering diagnosis head-on, survived it, and returned to work, not as someone pretending nothing happened, but as someone changed and strengthened by the experience. More than a decade later, life delivered another devastating blow. In 2021, Christina Applegate revealed that she had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. MS is a chronic, unpredictable autoimmune disease that affects the central nervous system, and there's no cure. The symptoms can vary dramatically from person to person, but for many, the disease brings relentless pain, numbness, fatigue, mobility issues, and neurological complications that worsen over time. For an actress whose career depended on long hours, physical endurance, emotional intensity, and consistency, the diagnosis was not just medical, it was existential. Once again, Christina did not hide. She did not soften the truth or package it into something inspirational for public consumption. She spoke with brutal honesty about how MS has altered her body and reshaped her daily life. She has talked openly about struggling to walk, losing balance unexpectedly, feeling constant nerve pain, and waking up some days unsure if she can even get through the basics. She has admitted there are moments when she feels angry, defeated, and exhausted, and then moments when humor becomes the only thing that keeps her grounded. That raw honesty struck a nerve with fans around the world, especially those living with chronic illness or invisible disabilities. Christina Applegate never presented herself as a flawless symbol of strength. She didn't pretend to have it all figured out. She presented herself as human, vulnerable, frustrated, resilient, and still fighting. And that authenticity made her voice even more powerful. Which brings us to the Married with Children reunion, an event that, on the surface, could have easily been dismissed as another nostalgia-driven Hollywood gathering. But this reunion was different from the moment it was announced. It carried weight, it carried history, and it carried emotion that was impossible to ignore, even through brief clips shared online. Christina's decision to appear was never guaranteed. Since her MS diagnosis, she has significantly reduced public appearances. Travel is exhausting. Standing for long periods can be painful. Energy is limited and unpredictable. Every appearance requires careful planning, physical preparation, and recovery time afterward. So when word spread that she would be attending the reunion, fans immediately understood how meaningful that decision was. When Christina appeared on stage alongside Ed O'Neill, Katie Sagal, and David Faustino, the reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Applause erupted, cheers filled the room, and it wasn't because fans were seeing Kelly Bundy again, it was because they were seeing Christina, present, smiling, standing there despite everything she has been enduring privately. She didn't pretend the disease wasn't part of the moment. At times, she relied on support. At times, she moved carefully and deliberately, and in doing so, she made something incredibly visible, the reality of living with a chronic illness while still choosing to show up, to participate, and to be seen. One of the most talked about moments of the night came when Christina addressed her MS head-on. With her trademark blunt humor, she joked about how brutal the disease is, drawing laughter and applause from the audience. It was a reminder that humor has always been her armor, that even in the hardest moments, she refuses to surrender her voice, her wit, or her edge. Her co-stars stood by her with visible pride and affection. David Faustino has often spoken about how close he remains with Christina decades after the show ended, describing frequent conversations, shared laughter, and a bond that never faded. That connection was unmistakable on stage, in the way the cast watched out for her, supported her, and clearly wanted her there not as a headline, but as family. Ed O'Neill and Katie Sagal, who played her on-screen parents for more than a decade, were equally emotional. Their reactions weren't scripted. They weren't performative. They were the genuine responses of people who shared formative years, personal milestones, and professional highs and lows with someone they genuinely care about. The reunion itself was filled with stories from the Married with Children years, behind-the-scenes memories, outrageous moments, and reflections on how the show challenged television norms and changed the sitcom landscape forever. But beneath every laugh was an undercurrent of gratitude. Gratitude that this moment was happening at all. Gratitude that Christina Applegate was there to share it. What elevated this reunion beyond entertainment was its deeper purpose. The event was connected to fundraising efforts for multiple sclerosis research, transforming a nostalgic celebration into something meaningful and forward-looking. For Christina, this cause is no longer theoretical, it's deeply personal. Every dollar raised represents hope for better treatments, better understanding, and a future where fewer people face the same struggles. The response from fans has been overwhelming. Social media flooded with emotional messages, clips, and tributes almost instantly. People shared how much Christina's visibility meant to them. Others reflected on growing up watching her, and now watching her navigate life with honesty and courage. Many said that seeing her on stage made them feel less alone in their own battles. This reunion has also sparked a broader conversation about aging, illness, and visibility in Hollywood. Too often, celebrities disappear the moment they can no longer meet unrealistic standards of perfection. Christina Applegate has done the opposite. She has allowed herself to be seen as she is now, not polished, not invincible, but real. That choice has fundamentally redefined her legacy. She is no longer remembered only for the characters she played, but for the way she has faced adversity with openness, humor, and integrity. Her career, already impressive, now carries a deeper, more human layer of meaning. It's also important to acknowledge the reality she has shared openly, that her future in acting remains uncertain. She has said that Dead to Me may very well be her final acting role, not because she lacks talent or passion, but because MS makes the physical demands of production extraordinarily difficult. That truth adds another layer of emotion to every appearance she makes. Fans understand these moments are rare, and that knowledge makes them even more impactful. Despite all of this, the reunion was not somber. It was loud, funny, irreverent, and full of life, exactly what Married with Children always was. Christina laughed, she joked, she connected. She reminded everyone that while illness may change the body, it does not erase personality, intelligence, or spirit. This is why this reunion has struck such a deep chord. It wasn't about escaping into the past for comfort. It was about acknowledging the passage of time, the realities of life, and the strength it takes to keep moving forward, even when the path is painful and uncertain. Christina Applegate didn't attend the reunion to prove anything. She didn't do it for headlines. She didn't do it for strangers to inspire. She did it because it mattered, because the people on that stage mattered, because the fans mattered, and because sometimes simply showing up, honestly and imperfectly, is an act of quiet defiance. As this story continues to resonate, one thing is undeniable. This Married with Children reunion will be remembered not just for the laughs, but for the courage it represented. It showed that legacy isn't frozen in the past. It evolves, and sometimes it becomes even more powerful with time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.